Thanks for the support as a channel member, Ryan Harding. Well, the good news is I'm probably not going to get sacked because we've won a couple of games in the Premier League. Today, we step back into the Champions League for the first time in a couple of years against Hoffenheim. Hello and welcome to part 139 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our first Champions League game of the year away against Hoffenheim, and we're also at home against champions Arsenal in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, we did manage to sort form out a little bit. We beat Derby, we beat Wolves, we drew away from home against Manchester City, who at that point had won every game this season. It was with a late equaliser, but I don't care. We managed to get the draw. What you will notice is neither Gomez or Soma have scored yet. Juninho scoring against Derby is currently our top scoring striker, and Jim Steinman is our top scorer overall at the moment, our new captain. It's not just because I now ignore that Gomez exists. Gomez actually picked up a knock, so wasn't available for these games. He did return for the Manchester City game. There's your proof that he played. He just didn't play very well. He was returning from injury. Soma came on and he didn't play very well either. So we have a striker problem, which is a strange situation for us to be in. I think we go back to Soma today and then Gomez for the Arsenal game is what I'm thinking. And we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Interestingly, my suggested squad thing has suggested that I play my midfield this way around with Steinman deep and Addo there, even though they're both natural in those positions. I'm still going with what I think is best, but I don't know. Is there a good reason why they should play that way around? I'm not sure I know what it is. We're going to keep doing this, and I'm just going to assume that I'm right. I think that's probably for the best. So we're going with Bakita in goal, back for a Regulus, Da Silva, Diaz and Arango, Addo at the base of the midfield, Sarmiento and Steinman ahead of him, Ricardo, Cernajacki and Soma as our front three. Let's get into the game. I'm hoping Champions League is going to be somewhere where Soma can start to find his feet in English football, because playing in the Premier League is new to the league. It's always going to be a little bit of a challenge, but this guy's got plenty of international experience, and I feel like international football is closer to Champions League football, so he might be more used to playing in this kind of game. That's what I'm hoping for. As you can see, we've got an absolute nightmare of a Champions League group as well. Juventus, Hoffenheim and Valencia. If we've got any hope of making it through this group, we need to get a draw in this game, really. We need to find maybe 2 from the 3 away games that we draw. I'm kind of assuming we're going to lose both games against Juventus, which means we've got to find a way to beat Valencia and Hoffenheim at home, draw with them both away, and hope that, what would that be, 8 points? Hope that would be enough. It might not be. It feels like one of those groups where everybody's capable of beating everybody, though. So I guess we'll just see what happens. And there is Soma. I'm a genius. There's his first goal of the season. And it's the Champions League. Of course it is. It's a lovely... it's the simplest goal you'll ever see. Arango getting out wide, getting the cross in, and Soma just has to nod it down. And he does. Hopefully this is him up and running now. He won't score an easier goal than that in his career. But there's been a lot of pressure on him in the Premier League, especially added pressure from Gomez being injured and me not having the option to rotate him back out and then getting dropped for the Manchester City game. Maybe he's going to come at us with a point to prove now and go on and be the player that I still suspect he will be. I still think he'll be our striker when we win things. If we just hit the crossbar as well. This has been a very bright start from Bourne. I am encouraged about what I'm seeing at the moment. Juventus and Valencia still drawing in their game. That's what we need. We need Juventus to drop some points against some teams, I think. I don't even know if that is what's best. I'm assuming Juventus are the best team in the group. We could probably look all this up and see about league positions and stuff. I guess if Juventus are going to win, we actually want them to beat Valencia, to push Valencia down so we can go for second. It's a complicated thing. It's definitely a group of death. You'd look at this and it's difficult to pick who's going through with Juventus, and just as easy it could be one of those groups where you lose a big team like Juventus because it was such an awkward group for them to navigate. Sarmiento, Steinman and Addo just knocking the ball around between the three of them in midfield. I like this. Soma drops deep, plays it into Cernajacki. That's a nice pass. There's no one in the middle, though. Soma's trying to make up the ground. He gets on the end of the cross, but it wasn't quite enough to force it goalwards, and Cernajacki can't convert from the rebound. Not that he was going to convert anyway, because he was well wide of goal. If he scores from there, the man's a genius. Right, Valencia are beating Juventus. Both of these scored 3-0 as well. 3 goals in the last 5 minutes of the first half of Valencia. They've just had a silly 5 minutes and gone crazy. Both of those scores at the moment, very much putting the cats amongst the pigeons in this Champions League group, and really emphasise you wouldn't want to have to bet on the outcome of this group, especially having seen how these first games are going. It's just one of those groups, isn't it? Our aim now is to win the Europa League this year, because I assume that's what we're going to end up in. But you never know. We are ahead at the moment and playing quite well. With our new balanced mentality, by the way, which I don't think I've mentioned, but we used it against Manchester City. I'm thinking for away games, balanced mentality might not be a bad idea rather than going all-out attack. We're going to bring Ariel on as well. So Cook and Ariel both coming on. Arango now with the throw. Finds Addo, who is basically stood on top of Steinman. They're kind of getting in the way of each other. Maybe that's why the game's suggesting swap them around. If Addo's naturally going to drift into that position, maybe put him in that position and have Steinman sitting behind him. Maybe that's better. But then we spent over 100 million on Addo. He can do as he's told. And to be fair, he's playing an 8.7 today. He's having a cracking game at the base of the midfield. That's what we spent all that money for. A 9 now he's sat there on. Right, Steinman can come off as my final change. Bonilla can come on for him. And we are then going to swap those two over, because Bonilla definitely is better, or can play there. Addo can move forward. So I think that strengthens the midfield, having a more defensive-minded player than Steinman coming in. We should probably drop a little bit of praise, because we have played very well in this game. Not only are we winning, but we've dominated the game as well. 65% possession. We've had more shots. Just generally been the better team. Juventus have got 2 goals back in their game against Valencia. That looks... I mean, if you were channel hopping this Champions League night, you probably started watching the Juventus-Valencia game at some point, even though you're a Bourne fan. But we have picked up the win, picked up the very valuable £2.3 million that comes with it. Joseph Addo has just had his best performance in a Bourne shirt. Soma's just scored his first goal for Bourne. This feels like a coming-of-age moment for our new-look team. The tactic worked. Our 2 new players played well. I am encouraged. Let's see how we get on against Arsenal. Right, my assistant manager is pushing for Addo and Steinman to be the other way around again. So I thought I'd have a little bit of a comparison between the two of them. And maybe I get it, because Steinman is better in the air, better mentally, better at defending, better physically. He's quicker, and he's got the same vision as Addo. Addo is better technically and better attacking. So it does make sense to have him as the more attacking one of the two. They're both very, very good players. Addo, theoretically, is the better player overall. There's their breakdown of their individual attributes, for those of you who love all that, which I know some of you love all this. Statistically, I'm not going to get too bogged down in statistics, but they can... I mean, the thing is, he's the best deep line playmaker, which is the role that I want. What does my report say? See, even there, it says Steinman's finishing is a big weakness. So, as a box-to-box midfielder, Addo's going to get more goals. They're both very good players. It's a nice problem to have. We've got 2 very good midfield players. We'll try them this way round. We're probably going to lose against Arsenal anyway. So let's try them this way round and see what happens. If it doesn't work, we'll swap them back again. Now, I know I said Gomez could come back in for this game, but Soma scored in the last game, and in the interests of his confidence, we're going to keep him in. If he doesn't play well, Gomez definitely starts the next game. I am not writing off Christian Gomez. I know the comments on the last video, some of you are absolutely convinced that I'm writing off Gomez and moving on from him. I'm absolutely not. But we need 2 really good strikers, and we only had 1. We looked at the stats. Gervin and Janino, between them, had scored less than 20 goals in 3 years. If we're going to compete in the league and the Champions League, We need 2 good strikers. Find me a football club that only has 1 good striker and no other goal-scoring threats, and I'll show you a club that doesn't win anything. We don't want to be Spurs. We don't want to have just Harry Kane and nothing else. We want options. So that's what bringing in Soma is. And Cernajacki's done really well there, and how he doesn't score, I do not know, because he's done brilliantly to create himself a chance. And it's really the only chance of the first half. It didn't even end up with a shot. We've had no shots in this first half, which is not ideal. Arango playing the ball over the top for Soma. This is going to be a shot, though. Surely Soma is in and really messed it up. Oh, he's going to get some abuse in the comments now that I don't know that he deserves. But that was really, really poor. Oh, dear. Oh, dearie, dearie me. That was a chance. We'll keep him on. We'll give him 15 minutes and then Gomez can come on. Oh, that was a chance. I'm not going any more attacking than this, even though we're at home, because it's Arsenal and we know how good they were last year. And I'm happy with a draw from this game, so I'm not going to push things too hard. Right, we're going to bring Gomez on for Soma to try and, if we get another chance like that, we know Gomez will score it. Whereas Soma's not quite there yet. I do think once he can speak English, he'll take a big step up. If you remember with Gomez wasn't a prolific scorer initially, and everyone was saying, play Lahif, play Lahif. And I ignored you and stuck with the man that I knew was going to be best, and was proven right ultimately once Gomez learned English. And I am expecting similar things from Soma, but we're not going to completely write Gomez off and forget about him the way we did Lahif. We're going to balance the two. Addo misses out there. Probably should have done a little bit better. And it's left us in a little bit of trouble. He is chasing around like a man possessed trying to get the ball back, which is a good thing, I guess, as long as he actually ultimately ends up with the ball. I like the energy he's showing in there. Steinman now stepping forward to try and get a tackle in. And it's left them both a little bit out of position, but Regulus and Ricardo, between the two of them, are going to clear up the mess. And Regulus comes away with the ball over the top for Gomez. And this is a chance for Gomez to show how you do these chances properly. He beats his man. And does he... Oh, we've had some chances. We've had some chances. And now he's had... Cernajacki, Soma and Gomez have all had good chances. We've had 3 clear-cut chances. Arsenal have had none. On another day, we win this game, and I'm called a tactical genius for getting the tactics just right. But we're just not getting that luck in front of goal. Let's get creative. Come on, we just need somebody. It's been such a tight affair. Only 7 shots on target between the two teams. Gomez is in again here, though. He's looked very lively since coming on. Plays it back to his old buddy, Cernajacki, who shoots and scores! What a goal from Cernajacki! It's Bourne 1, Arsenal 0, and that was a thing of beauty from Cernajacki. Gomez does really well. He's back in for the next game. Gomez does brilliantly to stretch the play, finds Cernajacki, who just picked his spot, and he is a world-class player. Arsenal fans would have looked at that and thought it was like they were playing they had Thierry Henry against them. That was a Thierry Henry goal. Maybe off the other side. He'd have been coming in off the other wing. But it was just beautifully side-footed around the goalkeeper. And now here's Gomez again, who is causing Arsenal all manner of problems. Gomez plays it back to Cernajacki again, who this time has to rush and hit it with his standing foot, which obviously isn't going to be anywhere near as effective. And we are into the final 5 minutes or so of the game. Regulus tries to make a tackle but doesn't actually come away with the ball, and Arsenal are on the attack, but De Silva does very well with a crunching challenge, finds the former Arsenal man Bellico, who's playing on the left wing for once today, plays it forward looking for I don't even know what. Does he think he still plays for Arsenal? Because they're in here, and Bakita does well to make the save. There's 4 minutes of time been added onto this game. I want to praise the boys, but I can't. And I hope we don't concede while I'm trying to praise them. Bakita flapping at the corner, doesn't get anywhere near it. Now we can drop the praise and hopefully just use that to roar us over the finish line. And we do. That showed maturity, the way we played that game. We knew we were playing well. We knew we just had to keep plugging away. We knew a goal would come, and it did. And we're up to 5th in the Premier League. After that really rocky start that we had, we are now up to 5th and looking like a good side. There are bright things ahead for Bourne Town Football Club, and I'm excited. Right, we'll be back in the next episode. I think I'm probably going to show you the 3 away games in the Champions League, because they're the big ones. I know we've got Juventus there, but we don't want to. It's too soon to come back for Juventus. We could do Valencia away and then Juventus away, and they can be the next 2 episodes. I think that makes sense. Spreads the season out a little bit and shows you the really important Champions League moments. But if we carry on playing like this, we don't need to worry about the Champions League group. We'll be fine. If you enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.